Well, hello everyone. I'm recording this video right now on the 6th of August, and this is a prelude to a video that I actually recorded almost 2 weeks ago when I was in Reno visiting my friend Doyle. Because we were off trail and we didn't really have a lot of trail footage to show you guys, I was thinking about something I could do that would help fill in that gap that might still be of interest to you. And this interview with Doyle was something I thought that pretty much everyone, hopefully, will have some interest in. Doyle's a very fascinating guy. He's had an amazing life, a very distinguished military career and a successful civilian life. And he and I go back a long, long way, well over 40 years, and that'll be explained in the video as well. So it's only about 10 minutes long, and even though it's not specifically about hiking, maybe it'll give you a little bit of insight into my background as well as his, which I think definitely is a story that needs to be told. So thanks for watching. The next future videos, we should be getting close to being back on trail, and you can laugh at our foibles as we attempt to stumble our way to Canada. Thanks. Okay, hi everybody, and obviously we are way off trail now. We're actually sitting in Reno in a little restaurant here, and I kind of briefly introduced my friend Doyle Ruff in a couple of the previous segments, and I've even referred to the fact that he was the one who was coming to pick us up off trail and bring us down here to Reno. And I wanted to just spend just a couple of minutes here, even though we're not talking about trail stuff and hiking stuff, to introduce Doyle to the audience out there, because he's a remarkable man who's had an absolutely remarkable, hard to believe history. So I'm not going to blabber on, but Doyle, I'd like you to just tell the audience out there a little bit about your military background and some of the things you've done since you left the military, and then after that we'll kind of tie it in and explain to everybody how it is that you and I came to know each other.
Well, I was thinking this morning, there I was driving up the Kit Carson Pass, and here's these two PCT hikers loaded up. One happened to be my former son-in-law sitting right next to me here, and his lovely wife Thia, Roadkill and Goldilocks, and they needed a ride. Well, I brought them to Reno. And we've had a wonderful visit, my wife and I, and Ken and Thia, and then lo and behold, we went from a 4-ship formation to a 5-ship formation. Ken's brother, Jim, who's off camera at the moment, arrived here from Colorado Springs on his BMW motorcycle. And I immediately thought of speed, which immediately brought to my mind some speed that I've experienced in the past flying airplanes. But it cut to the chase here. Back in 1974 and 75, I was stationed at Eielson Air Force Base in Alaska, just south of Fairbanks, and so was Roadkill. He was in the Air Force at the time with Strategic Air Command. And we met, if you want to put it that way, in the gym, because Roadkill here is still a gym rat, but he was a gym rat in the weight room big time.
Wanted to be the next Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, he did, and he was looking pretty close to it. And I would go to the weight room to do some much lighter weight workouts, and we got to know each other there. Neither one of us had a clue that in the future we would be related by marriage. And and Ken wound up being married to my oldest daughter, and at that time, and that was down the road, and we've obviously known each other ever since. Well, he wanted me to talk about my past, and it was pretty jam-packed. I'm from Orlando, Florida. I graduated from Florida State University, go Noles, and then went through ROTC and got my commission there, and went to pilot training and became an Air Force pilot. It was a a fairly action-packed 21-year career of flying and doing things. I had over 200 missions in South Vietnam, and mostly South Vietnam, but some of them were in North Vietnam. And
you were flying an A-1 Skyraider?
well, yes, we affectionately called the SPAD, but Douglas A-1E Skyraider, and our primary mission was close air support for friendly ground troops, both U.S. and Allied ground troops, as well as the South Vietnamese ground troops. That was the primary mission. But anyway, was fortunate enough to come home and finish out my Air Force career. That also included some formal schooling that the military provides at the Armed Forces Staff College and the Air War College. I was fortunate to have been selected to be one of the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds, and I served 3 years on the Thunderbird team, and I was also fortunate to be on the team when we flew the F-100 Super Sabre North American and transitioned to the McDonnell Douglas F-4E. So that was, to say the least, a very unique and honored experience in my life. Went on to, after that, eventually wound up at Eielson Air Force Base, where Ken and I met.
I need to intercede here. So at the time that I was at Eielson Air Force Base, I was a very young airman. I think I was probably 21 years old. The rank of E3, which any of you with the military background know, that's pretty low on the totem pole. But Doyle, however, was the Eielson Air Force Base commander, so the highest ranking Air Force person on the entire base. So there was a lot of disparity in our respective positions. But despite that, Doyle, was always very courteous and polite to me. Didn't throw his weight around, and was, when he was in the gym, he was just one of the regular guys. So,
well, I was trying to be one of the regular guys because they could really lift some weights, and me not so much. But at any rate, that's where we met, and eventually down the road, he met my daughter in those days, and they were married for a while, and from that marriage came grandchildren and eventually great-grandchildren. And so I know Laura will be watching this up in Palouse, and she and her 4 wonderful children are there, and Ken and Thia have her kind of watching the house while they're on the trail.
Yep.
And but at any rate, it's been a varied career. I was 21 years in the Air Force, and then right at 20 years being an airport director. I was the airport director at Fairbanks International, followed by Anchorage International, followed by Redding, California, that has 2 airports. And then I went back to Fairbanks for 9 more years being the director there. It was kind of like being in the military and moving around from one post to another.
Yeah.
And but I finally totally hung up my spurs in 2002. Had a wonderful experience in Alaska with friends that we made that are lifelong friends. They're just some of the most fantastic people you could come across. Met most of them through the aviation community. My wife and I built a remote cabin on a wonderful lake. We had a Super Cub on floats. Mr. Piper made a beautiful airplane, and we enjoyed that for a lot of years until we sold out everything and moved to Reno. And so Reno happened to be a convenient spot for roadkill and Goldilocks and my wife and I to link up before they press on to the north.
That's true.
Did I do well enough, sir?
That's pretty good. Let me add this one. I want to add one last thing, and that was a good summary. I told you he's had an absolutely amazing career. I mean, it's just, And that was literally, believe me, that was just the highlights of it. There's a lot more to it. He doesn't tell you about some of the high honors that he won as a military officer. And if I remember hearing correctly, at one time you were the youngest full colonel in the Air Force at like age 34, I think.
36.
36 still. To have reached that high of a rank at such an early age shows you what an exceptional military officer he was.
But I have to say something.
Okay.
I did get early promotion to major, and early promotion to lieutenant colonel. And
Well, you earned it. That's why.
Early promotion to colonel. But once I put on the colonel's rank and got placed in those positions of responsibility, in all honesty, I had often had the feeling that I was about to overrun my headlights, and, which is an expression that makes you feel that, hey, I need to throttle back here just a little bit.
Well, but to summarize it, let me, because we don't want this to go too long, put the audience, to sleep because you're mostly interested in watching hiking stuff. But I want to say I genuinely really appreciate the relationship that Doyle and I have been able to maintain through all these years, which goes back, we were just counting it up, 43 years. 43 years ago we first met.
In the weight room.
In the weight room. And but even more important than that, Doyle's daughter and I have been divorced now for 18 years. And yet after 18 years, Doyle and I, even though we're no longer related by marriage, have still managed to maintain a friendship and
mutual respect.
A mutual respect for one another, and his actions over the past, day and a half here, coming and picking us up off the trail and bringing us down here to Reno and taking care of us. It just shows what a fine man he is, and a relationship that I really value. So I want to say thank you. Here, said a hiker handshake. There you go.
All right. Well, I have to say that it enabled me to reunite with his brother Jim, that's sitting across from me right now, that's off camera, that I haven't seen in 23 years. And I've started to say most importantly, but I don't want to diminish Jim's importance, but enabled me and my wife to again get together with Thia, known as Goldilocks, and who is just a top drawer, first class lady in person. They just make a wonderful pair, and my wife and I recognize that because that's the way we feel about each other, and it's nice to see it reflected.
Well,
but
thank you.
Good to talk to you.
Well, you too. Thank you for everything, and we're just about to get on the road here. As I've said in the previous videos, once we leave Reno here, we're going to go up north and visit with a little bit more family, and then we're going to be back on trail. So you guys can start, watching our antics and struggles on the trail again very soon.
But can I add one quick thing? I just
You're
want
out of time.
Am I out of time?
No, go ahead.
Oh.
Wait, actually, no. Yeah, camera's still running. Yeah, go ahead, talk fast.
I just want to say hello to the family.
Kronk and Sacagawea, you're watching this? You got fans out here, so, okay. Hopefully they'll be back on camera with us in the next week or two. So, okay. Thanks for everybody for watching, and we'll be back on trail soon.
Within the Air Force's Tactical Air Command, there exists a squadron of serious-minded and businesslike volunteers called the Thunderbirds. They are America's ambassadors in blue. Today's aviation pathfinders, the United States Air Force Thunderbirds. What's it like being a member of this highly trained elite squadron?
The best way to show you our business is in the air. We'll be having a briefing in a few minutes. You're welcome to attend.
Five, four, 3, 2, 1, hack. Do it. Head up, go.
Okay, 10 o'clock takeoff. Let's start engines at 9:40.
Every man in this squadron is a serious, intent, professional airman.
Walk down.
In the 18-year history of the team, the Thunderbirds have performed in more than 40 nations. Before now, we'll have an opportunity to ride in the back seat and experience for ourselves the delicate skills required of an Air Force Thunderbird.
Okay, we're ready. Let's go.
Let's run them up. Taxi, turn left, skim a 1+ show. Lights out, tail lights out, fuel lights out. Check's complete. Are you all set back there? Here we go. Nose coming up, right on up. Keep her coming. That's it, Tom. Bring her in tight. Looks good. How do you feel? Okay? We're a little closer than usual. Looks real good. Back one more. Solo should be rolling pretty soon. Slow roll to the left now. Real fine. Little floating. Little pull. Let's keep this nice roll going. Right on around. How do you feel? Okay. Floating here. Right on around. Sliding left a bit. Let's put a nice bottom on it. Right on down. Still with us? Solo out. Let's make this a good one. Keep her together. Looks good. Right on around. Back around for the arrowhead roll. Smoke on. Ready? Now. Nose coming up. Rolling left. Ready? Now. Right around. Keep her rolling. Real fine. Beautiful. Try and keep your eye on number 5 going back. They'll be doing the 8-point roll. Floating here. Coming around. Going to pull some G's. Okay, bottoming out now. Just keep her going. Thunderbirds, let's go roll back. Ready? Now. Coming. Let's make it straight. Real nice lineup. Looks good. Starting to pull. Keep it up. Bottoming out. Hold it. Okay. Lights on. Nose coming up. Straight up. Keep them tight. Stand by to brake. Ready? Now. Come on up, 5. We're waiting for you. Coming up. Stand by for left pitch up. Ready? Now. It's a good show. Let's come up a bit more and wedge park.
In today's United States Air Force.